Hey, 7th grade. We are moving on to a quick little lesson that for a lot of you could be review, but I know this was supposed to be covered at the end of 6th grade, so this is either a great chance to review or something that is brand new. So we are going to be given a set of numbers and find the mean, median, mode, range, and outliers. And this is definitely a concept that you will want to use a calculator for. So our goals are pretty simple. Be able to calculate the mean, median, mode, and range of a set of numbers. And we're going to show you how to do all of that. And goal number 2, identify any outliers. So I will be using a calculator during these notes, but the calculator will be off screen. So there is a lot of vocabulary. Feel free to abbreviate. So the mean, that just means the average value of a set. So if you're giving a bunch of numbers and you want to find the average, you add up all of the numbers in the set and divide by the total number of numbers. So if there are 5 numbers, you add them up and you divide by 5. If there are 8 numbers, you add them up and divide by 8. So if you're trying to figure out what your grade is in a class, if you add up all of your scores and then divide by that number of assignments, you'll have your average, at least if they are all worth 100%. The median, that is the middle value of the set. So this is usually similar to the mean, but just a little different. So to find the median, you want to order the numbers from least to greatest, and then you select the middle number. If there are 2 middle numbers, then you're going to find the average of those 2 numbers. The mode is the most frequently used number in the set. So maybe in a set of numbers, 1 or 2 numbers pops up more than the others. You'll want to identify that as the mode. The range, that's the difference between the largest and smallest number in a set. And remember that range, or the difference, means to subtract. Outliers, those are any numbers that are far away from the majority of the numbers. So maybe if you were, again, looking at your scores, they were all 100s or in the 90s, but you had 10% on an assignment, that would be an outlier because that would be just one strange incident that stands out a lot. The best measure of central tendency is the last topic that we'll introduce today. So that would be the method or methods that most appropriately measure the set of numbers. So if you are given a set of numbers, sometimes there is a better method to use. Maybe it's most appropriate to find the mean. Maybe it's most appropriate to find the mode. Maybe it's most appropriate to find the median. That concept is a little complicated if you're trying to learn this from YouTube. So my advice is to use the median the most. If you use the median for your best measure of central tendency, that will work 95% of the time, including on your homework today. Okay, so we have an example. We have a set of numbers, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to order them from least to greatest. And this can be not tricky, but it's easy to make a mistake. So I do is I try to cross out the numbers as I go lightly. So I have 9, I have a 10, and the reason I cross out the numbers is just so I don't accidentally skip a number or write one twice. There's another 10, another 10, another 10, scanning, there's a 12, there's a 12, 13, 14, 15, 42. So now I have ordered them from least to greatest, and that'll help a lot. If I count through the numbers, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 numbers in my set. So I'm going off screen, and I'm going to add 9 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 12 plus 12 plus 13 plus 14 plus 15 plus 42. And that gives me a total of 157. And I'm going to divide that by 11 because there are 11 numbers. And again, I'm still using the calculator. So I'm dividing by 11, and that gives me 14.27. So that is the mean. The decimal does go along quite a ways, but go ahead and stop 2 digits to the right of the decimal point. To find the median, we're going to be starting from the outside and trying to identify the middle number. So what I do is I go and I take each end and go one at a time. So 42 and 9 are the ends, 15 and 10, 14 and 10. So these numbers I'm underlined, I'm just narrowing down to the middle. So 13 and 10, 12 and 10. And now I can see there was one number left in the middle, which is 12. And that is our median. The mode is going to be the number that is most frequently seen. It's usually pretty easy to identify the mode. I can see here that I have 4 tens, and there's no other number that I have more than 4 of. So the mode is going to be 10. The range is the biggest number minus the smallest number. So this is another good time to have numbers ordered from greatest to least or least to greatest. I know that 42 minus 9 is 33. So that is a range. Outliers, I'm looking to see if there's any numbers that are way lower or way higher than the group. In this case, it's definitely 42 because all the other numbers are between 9 and 15, and then there's a 42 that sticks way out. It is important to realize that this outlier, the 42, made the mean quite a bit higher than the median. And that is why our best measure of central tendency here would be the median. Now, if you decided to use the mean as the best measure, that would be perfectly fine. Usually when like commercials or statisticians, when they use the average, that means that they are trying to persuade you to look at data in a certain way, because that includes outliers. The median is typically the most accurate way to determine stats that can be looked at in different perspectives. If we are calculating something like homework scores or batting average, you would want to use the mean. But if it can be looked at in a couple different views, you'll want to use the median.
Dad.
Okay.
I know, Dad.
Next example, our numbers are a little bit bigger. So again, I'm still using a calculator off screen. The first thing I'm going to do is order these from least to greatest. So I have 24 as the lowest number. I'm crossing these out as I go. 24, 24, there's a 25. This is an easy part to make a mistake just because it's easy to not see a number. 26, 27, 28, and then I have two 32s, and that is 2, 4, 6, 8 numbers. So again, I'm going off calculator or going off screen to use a calculator to do 24 plus 24 plus 25 plus 26 plus 27 plus 28 plus 32 plus 32. That gives me 218. and I'm going to be dividing that by 8 because there are 8 numbers. That will give me 27.25. I have kids yelling in the background. I hope you can't hear them. That's why I'm wearing AirPods. But maybe they aren't worth it. The AirPods, not the kids. All right, median. Going to track down the middle. Okay, 24 and 32s are on the outside. Going down with 25 and 28. And now we have 2 numbers in the middle. So in order to find the median, we're going to need to add 26 plus 27 and divide by 2. So in this case, 26 plus 27 is 53. And if we divide that by 2, we're going to end up with 26.5. And that is our median. So there are a couple extra steps for a median if there are 2 numbers. For our first example, it was nice and easy. For our mode, we're looking for the most frequently found number. So we actually have 2 24s and 2 32s. So our mode are going to be 24 and 32. So it's perfectly fine to have more than one mode. Our range is going to be 32 minus 24, greatest number minus the smallest number, which will equal 8. Looking at this set, we don't have outliers, so that would be no outliers, because all of those numbers are pretty reasonably close. And our best measure of central tendency, well, we can see that the mean and the median are pretty close because there are no outliers. So you could say mean or median here. It wouldn't really make a difference. Again, for this assignment, if you put median as the best measure every single time, you would be perfectly fine. Use a calculator, double check your work, make sure that you are staying organized, and this assignment should be manageable. Good luck.